going on, Jerome's? So it was a very good season, well, half a season for Kirk, Jerome, Ezekiel Cousins. And yes, the 0-3 start, the 1-4 start, Kirk was here, blah, 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 blah. But got over the hump, won a couple games without Justin freaking Jefferson, and was frankly putting on a show before he popped his Achilles. And if Kirk continued on his trajectory, the 35-year-old quarterback probably would have been in the MVP conversation. The Vikings probably would have been in the thick THICC of the playoff chase, as well as the NFC North division, but it is what it is. Now, of course, everyone and their mom does seem to want Kirk Cousins back, and I do think that the most prudent course of action would be bringing back Kirk on a 1 to 2 year deal. Seems like Kirk is open to that. Justin Jefferson has done everything except put it on the table, say that I want Kirk back. Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi have hitched their wagon to Kirk Cousins over the last 2 years, and I think that all sides see that they're better together, right? But Kirk's contract, he is out of pocket. He is out of contract this year, and he has a $28.5 million dead cap hit, which would be due if his contract does void. If it extends, then it continues to be prorated. So the Vikings, I mean, they have some cap, but that would certainly clear up a little bit of their cap issues. But if Kirk Cousins did leave, and they bring in a rookie quarterback to play on his rookie deal as their starter, I mean, it would be no muss, no fuss, and they'd have a little bit of lump of dead cap this season. So who knows? But Kirk, his market valuation is $39.6 million per spot rack. That would be just south of guys like Daniel Jones, Dak Prescott, and in the same neighborhood as guys like Derek Carr, etc. So either way, that would be a steal. And yes, there has been some talk from Kirk about taking a hometown discount because he's got his money. Now it's about legacy. Now it's about winning games. But you know what it comes down to, man. Like, loyalty is great, and it does seem like Kirk and his wife and his family do love it here in the great state of Minnesota. But I mean, I'm loyal to whoever pays the most for loyalty. If I find someone who values loyalty more, then I will be loyal to them. And you look at the Falcons. I mean, plop Kirk Cousins on the Falcons with those weapons, all of a sudden that they turn into a contender. And yes, all the connecting the dots. Oh, his wife went to Georgia, is from Georgia, all that stuff. That's exactly why Tom Brady's here in Minnesota, because Tom Brady's mom is from Minnesota. Of course, you look at the Steelers, too. I mean, the Steelers got some dudes, man. Plus, the Minnesota to Pittsburgh pipeline is wide open because they got Patrick Peterson, Shondon Sullivan, and Armand for Watts. Come on. Also, one of the offensive linemen is there. I forget which one. Doesn't matter. But could Kirk Cousins leave and go to the Steel City? I don't know. But I feel like at 36, coming off an Achilles, our team's going to break the bank for him, and he'd have to move. He'd have to learn to lead a brand new locker room, which took him multiple years here in Minnesota, learn a brand new offense, learn brand new weapons. I don't know. I don't know. But it is certainly on the table if Kirk Cousins leaves. Now, what would happen to the Vikings if that does happen? Well, basically, you're just ripping the Band-Aid off, because I still think that there's a world where the Vikings competitive rebuild. People don't like that term, but competitive rebuild, where you look, the Vikings have shed a lot of veteran dead weight contracts. You look at Thielen, you look at Kendricks, you look at Patrick Peterson, you look at Dalvin. And this offseason, probably looking at Harrison Smith. Now, if you want to go fully, just rip the Band-Aid off, get rid of Kirk, and then $28.5 million is dead on the cap in 2024 because all of the void years come home to roost. That sort of is what it is. Now, even with a voided contract, those contracts still count towards the compensatory pick formula. So, woo. I mean, you can't tag and trade Kirk because that would be unfeasible, plus the dates don't sync up. But you would likely get a third-round compensatory pick in 2025. Let's go. If the Vikings do let go of Kirk, I mean, you do have Mullins in the fold potentially. You do have Jaron Hall under contract entering year 2 of his 4-year rookie deal. But I think you would have to seek out a bridge quarterback in free agency. Now, Kwesi got wild and made the bridge quarterback Justin Fields. I don't know, man. But either way, like, the free agent quarterback market, it's not looking great. So Kirk would ironically be the crown jewel out there. Tannehill is the same age as Kirk and also not as good. Jabroni Brisket, I mean, he could back things up, back it up. Ty God is out there. Mariota, yeah. Well, we'll sign Mariota if it promises that we'll get to all 3 quarterbacks from the documentary. Sling and Sam Darnold, no. Jameis, I mean, I could be interested in Jameis. Drew Lock, meh. Baker is probably going to get tagged or extended with the Buccaneers, depending on what happens in this game. as we're watching right now. Flacco. I wonder what's going to happen in Cleveland. Like, are they contractually just stuck with Deshaun Watson, or do they bring back Flacco for his age 39 season? I don't know. Who knows? Josh Dobbs, probably not. Easton Stick got some run. The pride of NDSU, no. Josh Johnson, I feel like Josh Johnson, the only team he hasn't played for is the Vikings, so maybe he's going for not only bingo, but blackout. Every single team. There you go. But yeah, the Vikings should and could go hard in the paint for a competent free agent quarterback. Not to start long term, but you're going to be going all in on a rookie quarterback, so having some veteran presence there could be fine. But I mean, hell, maybe Kevin O'Connell's just fine with Nick Mullins. Who knows? But the Vikings drafting 11th currently. And this is going to be a very deep quarterback class. I do think that the top 3 picks are going to be quarterbacks. I think it's going to be a mixture of May, Williams, and Daniels, 1A, 1B, 1C. And the Vikings, I mean, could they move up into the stratosphere for their guy? Sure. Would it be expensive? Yes. Do they maneuver ahead of teams, say like the Falcons, say like the Giants, say like the Tennessee Titans, who potentially could be in for a quarterback, even though Tennessee took Levis in the second round last year, but new coaching regime? I don't know, but the Vikings right now, they have their first and second round pick, a couple of fourths, couple of fifths, couple of sixths. But if the Vikings do want to move up into the stratosphere, like we're talking multiple firsts, we're talking about, hey, if the Vikings want to get in the top 3, probably 3 first round picks plus change, maybe a starter. Who knows, man? Who knows? But yeah, if Kirk does leave, then the Vikings, it would certainly behoove them to go all in on a quarterback. So it would be the Drake May day. It will be Jaden Daniels season. It will be the Caleb Williams era, and it would be Penix, my dear. Who knows, man? But also, it's a spot too. If Kirk Cousins leaves for more money, and then everything that he said about, hey, we'll be willing to take a team discount and try and win a Super Bowl. It's all hooey. It's all about the money. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Like I said, I think the Vikings can have their cake and eat it too. I think that they can make a big-time swing for the quarterback of the future, and I think they can bring back Kirk Cousins for a year, maybe 2. But also, if you trade 3 first-round picks up for a quarterback, he's not going to sit for 2 years. Maybe 1, but not 2. But we'll see. I mean, this has a chance to be a very transformative offseason for the Vikings, probably one of the more transformative ones in team history, because there's lots of variables. Kirk's a variable. Danielle Hunter's a variable. Justin Jefferson and his extension is a variable, which you'll have to sell him on the quarterback of the future too, but we'll see what happens, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. What if Kirko is not Backo in 24-0? Let us know in the comment section below. You know what to do. Skol, production value.